In this video, we're going to dispel everything that you thought you knew about absinthe.
Stimulate the creative juices.
Legendarily destructive beverage.
I am the Green Fairy.
It says it's illegal in the States because it makes you hallucinate and go crazy.
The Green Fairy.
Here's to what keeps you going.
Absinthe, strong stuff.
Welcome back to the channel. This spirit alongside me right here is Treehouse's Absinthe. And we wanted to make this video to dispel a lot of misconceptions about this mysterious liquor and its status here in 2024. We're going to take you through some history and bring you up to the present day and talk a lot about this wonderful and mysterious spirit. So absinthe as we know it today originated in the Swiss town of Cuvée back in 1789 by Dr. Pierre Ordinaire. The distillate soon became well known in the region as a delicious panacea, boasting powerful healing properties. Because of its greenish tint, the spectral louche effect, as it's known, when combined with water, became known as Absinthe Verte, or in English, the Green Fairy. So not long thereafter, what was wine's loss was absinthe's gain. Absinthe experienced a tremendous growth in popularity thanks to a small vine-eating insect named grape phylloxera. It single-handedly destroyed 2/3 of the vineyards on continental Europe. The wine industry was decimated, and it was absinthe's moment. So absinthe was waiting in the wings to take its place on a grand stage. So around this time, why was absinthe banned? At the end of the 1880s, the wine industry was beginning to make a comeback, and the only thing standing in its way was absinthe. Wine in France was not considered alcohol, but a way of life. So it was very easy for the wine industry to begin their crusade to convince the government that absinthe was evil. All right, so because of the popularity of absinthe around this time, many counterfeit companies began to produce substandard absinthe, many of which were not distilled at all. Some of these substandard absinthes actually contain poisons, if you can believe that. Things like the toxic metal copper sulfate, which was utilized to give absinthe its characteristic green color in these counterfeit examples. So remember, the wine industry is not happy about absinthe's success. So there was a lot of propaganda around this time. All alcohol was being blamed for the societal ills and immoral behavior that was taking place. This would soon lead to the temperance movement and the eventual banning on all alcohol in the United States. In 1905, Jean Lanfray, a Swiss laborer, in a drunken rage, actually murdered his family and then tried to commit suicide, only to miss and shoot himself in the jaw. It was later revealed that throughout the day he had consumed 2 glasses of absinthe, also 7 glasses of wine, 6 glasses of cognac, 1 coffee laced with brandy, and 2 creme de menthe. After all the alcohol he had drunk, it was the 2 ounces of absinthe that was blamed for his actions. But due to the moral panic against absinthe in Europe at this time, based on the wine lobby, the murders led to a petition receiving over 82,000 signatures and the eventual banning of absinthe in Switzerland in 1910. After carefully watching what was happening in Europe, the United States soon followed in 1912 and reluctantly France in 1915. From that point on, absinthe had remained banned for nearly 100 years, and it wasn't unbanned in the United States until 2007. In fact, the first commercial distillery to make it after the ban was a distillery by the name of St. George Spirits, where John, our head distiller, had previously worked. Absinthe is a liquor that's made by infusing what is known as the Holy Trinity: wormwood, fennel, and anise into a spirit and distilling this infusion, very similar to gin. The resulting distillate is referred to as absinthe blanche. So at this stage, the absinthe is perfectly clear and has no color. The second stage of absinthe production is known as coloration. This is done by steeping select botanicals in the absinthe blanche. Once the desired color and flavor are achieved, the distiller removes the botanicals and bottles the spirit virtually undiluted. So in the example of our absinthe, Absinthe Verte, it's bottled at 120 proof, and some of these examples are bottled as high as 180. And I want to talk to you now about a modern absinthe, which is our Absinthe Verte. This absinthe is made from a base spirit of 100% malted barley to pay homage to Treehouse's roots as a brewery. Traditionally, absinthes are distilled from brandy. So after distilling our Absinthe Blanche, we infuse it with the following botanicals: hyssop, veronica, melissa, mint, sweet woodruff, basil, tarragon, and of course, a little bit of hops. So it's these botanicals that give our absinthe the characteristic dead leaf coloration. This faded green color is an indicator that the absinthe in front of you is actually the real deal. You know, if you see something that's hyper green or it doesn't have this kind of dead leaf characteristic, you probably have some cheap, gnarly absinthe and you should probably avoid it. So the key question on your mind as you watch this video is probably, will this spirit make me hallucinate? And I hate to disappoint you, but the answer is no, it will not. Much of absinthe's misunderstood reputation comes from a chief ingredient called wormwood. And within wormwood, there's a compound called thujone, which is attributed to those pernicious effects, but that ingredient can also be found in oregano, sage, and mint. Like most things, anything in heavily concentrated form can cause harm. In the example of absinthe, you would have to consume roughly 15 to 20 bottles to get any sort of hallucinogenic effects from those thujones. So is it possible? Yes. Are you going to get through 15 or 20 bottles of this to find out? I don't think so. The preparation of absinthe, how should you drink this guy? You got your hands on a bottle of House Verte. There's a beautiful ritual, and it's part visual spectacle and part gustatory necessity. Proper consumption of absinthe involves pouring a little bit of this guy into your glass of choice and then adding something like 3 to 5 parts cold water. And what happens is something called a louche. The louche is an opalescent clouding effect that takes place in the glass when the essential oils, which are normally soluble in alcohol, begin to fall out of solution as the amount of water increases. The dilution of absinthe is crucial to its enjoyment, as many of the flavors are lost if you try to imbibe it at full strength. So traditionally, drinkers would dissolve sugar into absinthe to suit their tastes. However, absinthe, particularly the anethole found in anise, has a remarkable palate-beguiling power of tricking your senses into thinking it's actually sweet when dilute. This is thanks to the anethole found in anise that measures roughly 13 times sweeter than sugar. All right, guys, this was a super fun video for me to research. I learned a ton. I'm even more enamored now with absinthe than I was previously. Treehouse's example is a labor of love, to be certain. John has been researching this type of drink for many, many years, so to see it become a reality is really awesome, and I hope you guys close by will give it a try. We want to thank you guys for watching. Get subscribed if you're not already. We love you. See you next time.